Hey everyone, and welcome back to Scandalous Media. It's Angela here, and I'm coming to you with a highly requested part 2 to my video on the top 10 lies Harry and Meghan said on Netflix. As you guys know, it's been 1 year since the Netflix soap opera, and no one has ever questioned Meghan and Harry on these prominent lies, and they just keep going on with their day as if the craziness they said on Netflix never happened. If you guys want an in-depth review and recap of the 6 episodes of their Netflix soap opera, make sure to check out my playlist on that. Before we start, be sure to like and subscribe for more videos each week, follow us on our social media, check out our blog scandalous.media for inside celebrity tea, and before we get into Harry and Meghan's 7 major lies said on Netflix, I pride myself on practicing what I preach, which is why unlike Harry and Meghan complaining about privacy while simultaneously leaking info, I don't want to deal with embarrassing or dangerous internet leaks, so I choose to protect my privacy and security by using Atlas VPN. Thank you to Atlas VPN for sponsoring this video. Atlas VPN allows you to hide your public IP address, block ads and malware, and it allows you to keep your Google searches private without having your activity tracked, which is helpful to avoid sneaky price increases, especially around the holidays when booking hotels and flights. Atlas VPN is running its biggest discount yet as part of their Christmas deal, which means you can get a 3-year subscription for just $1.70 per month, plus 6 months extra with a 30-day money-back guarantee using my link in the description box. This is the most affordable deal on the market. Atlas VPN is helpful for someone like me who often deals with crazy fans trying to hack or dox me because they don't like what I say, but Atlas VPN protects you from all of that by blocking malicious links and notifying you when someone is trying to steal your data. It's really simple to use and it takes a few minutes to set up. Just pick the country of your choice, connect, and you have an internet friend protecting you online. You can also use a single subscription for an unlimited number of devices, and it comes with a perk where you can unlock your favorite content from all over the world, which is how I watch my favorite shows on Netflix. This is a limited time offer, so grab their affordable Christmas deal before it ends. Using my link in the description box, you can get a 3-year subscription for $1.70 per month plus 6 months extra with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Thank you to Atlas VPN for sponsoring this video, and now let's get into their lies. Lie number 1. Meghan didn't wear bright colors with the royal family in order to blend in and because she couldn't. Episode 3. A liar will always give you a few versions of a story because they want to victimize themselves to the highest level possible. In episode 3, Meghan goes on this victim rant about how, through the goodness of her own heart, she chose to blend in by wearing muted and neutral tones so she doesn't steal the attention she so effortlessly grabs. There was thought in that, she said, about how she rarely wore color as a working royal. She also claims that she couldn't wear the same color as the Queen or any other senior royal member.
I rarely wore color. There was thought in that. So I wore a lot of muted tones, but it also was so I could just blend in.
So you didn't wear color because you're so thoughtful and you wanted to blend in? Or was it because you couldn't wear color? She also implies that the royal family only dresses in bright colors of the rainbow, which isn't really true. It was mainly the late Queen, and she was the Queen, so if Meghan is really comparing her low-level status to the Queen, then that's just laughable. Mind you, she's saying all this while they show us footage of her getting ready for the Salute to Freedom gala, and there's a bunch of people getting her dressed, and she's definitely trying to have her Princess Diaries I am so important moment. They imply that now Meghan wears color because she was so oppressed during her time in the royal family, which is not true for a multitude of reasons. First of all, Meghan did wear a lot of bright colors as a working royal. Here she is wearing bright purple at the One Young World Summit event. Here she's wearing a bright purple dress with a bright red coat and red pumps to match for her first royal engagement in 2019. In 2018, she wore this floral green dress for the Invictus Games Sydney celebration. Here is emerald green for the Wellchild Awards. Here is olive green at Prince Louis' christening, which she purposefully clashed and stood out from the family photo. And of course, this red Valentino dress in 2019. Second of all, if everyone else is wearing bright colors and you're in muted tones or neutrals, you're still going to be standing out, which is what we saw at Prince Louis' christening and on multiple events. If everyone else is in the colors of the rainbow and I'm sitting there in a beige or black outfit, duh, I'm going to stand out since I'm not fitting with the color theme. Third of all, Meghan doesn't often wear color. Beiges and muted neutral tones are part of her color palette. So it wasn't that she was so thoughtful and charitable, she chose to give up the attention she was getting so effortlessly. It was, she was always going to clash with the royal family with the color scheme, and it seemed to be done on purpose. And as we see today in 2023, everything Meghan ever wears is often neutrals or muted tones. The majority of her outfits for the Invictus Games in Germany were mainly neutrals. She wore white for the New York City event, and she was in this weird gray-looking poncho at the Kevin Costner fundraiser. And here are just a couple of other moments from 2023 where her wardrobe and color palette only consisted of neutrals. She also expressed how much she loved her suit's wardrobe, and she seemed to emulate that in her 72 days as a working royal. Lie number 2. Meghan was stalked by the paparazzi and she tried to get away from them. Episode 2. This is an ongoing lie that we see sprinkled throughout all 6 episodes of the Netflix soap opera, but it was a heavy focus in episode 2 where she tried to convince us that she was seriously stalked while filming as a D-list actress on a cable TV show. The truth is, Meghan and Harry faked paparazzi chasing them, and Meghan has actively tipped off the paparazzi as exposed by a former paparazzo who photographed her during her days where she was dating Harry.
At the florist, she literally was there. She honestly facilitated. She posed up for us. She smiled at us, me and the other guy I was working with, and we got such a beautiful set of pictures. She talked to us, and at one point she was like, telling me, she's like, oh, where are you from? I was like, I'm from London. She's like, well, you need to stop.
So Giselle, the paparazzi who took the photo in Canada, said there was only one other guy with him photographing her, and said that she knew she was being photographed and loved it because she was wearing an H&M necklace. And yet Meghan lies on Netflix and says that there were 9 or 10 guys chasing her and photographing her and kind of fluffing up the story. On top of that, there are strict laws in Canada when it comes to paparazzi, so oftentimes celebrities will find themselves going to Canada to get away from the paparazzi. So as to how Meghan Markle, out of all names in the world, has been harassed by paparazzi in Canada is hilarious. But as we know, she called the paparazzi. They also used a picture of paparazzi at a Harry Potter premiere acting like they were there for Meghan and Harry, as well as a bunch of other stock footage like this random dude in a parking lot with what seems to be a photoshopped camera, as proof that Meghan was being followed. I can go on and on about this topic, but I already talked about it in depth in episode 2, so go check that out. They also opened up episode 2 blatantly lying and pretending to be chased by someone when that didn't happen, as we can see from the footage. Lie number 3. Meghan and Harry had books written about them by people they didn't know. Episode 1. This one is funny. Harry talks about exploitation and bribery in the media. It's a big focus of the documentary. Meghan also specifically says that there were books written by people they didn't know. Now, why is this a lie? They have both been exposed in court for their cooperation and even planning of Finding Freedom, the PR book they had written and released on their behalf. Jason Knopf, who was the trusted staffer of Meghan and Harry and worked as their chief communications secretary, said that he emailed Harry because Harry was supposed to meet with the authors of Finding Freedom to help with factual accuracy and context. Harry then replied and said, I totally agree that we have to be able to say we didn't have anything to do with it, Finding Freedom. Equally, you giving the right context and background to them would help get some truths out there. The truth is very much needed and would be appreciated, especially around the Markle wedding stuff. But at the same time, we can't put them directly in touch with her friends.
He's lost his mind.
Jason Knopf also said that he attended a 2-hour meeting with Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand, the authors behind the book, for which Meghan provided briefing points she wanted to share with the authors, which included detail on how the tiara for her wedding had been selected and that it had been misrepresented by the media. And Meghan and Harry stated multiple times that they had nothing to do with the book. Is that not an example of exploitative behavior and bribery? And the cherry on top of all of this is that Meghan admitted in court that she actually did have a hand in the writing of Finding Freedom, and she just simply forgot to say that before. No, you're just a liar. Lie number 4. The late Queen Elizabeth and King Charles urged Meghan to write her father a letter, episode 5. Meghan claims that during all of her family drama surrounding the wedding, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Charles at the time told her, you should write him a letter. And that was a lie because Tom Bauer investigated this and said that they urged her to go see her father. It was Meghan who was refusing to see him. They didn't urge her to write a letter. The Queen wanted her to see her dad, but Meghan didn't want to. Instead, Meghan rather explained this dramatic route where she sent her manager the letter in LA in order for him to send it to Mexico for her dad, and then claims that whoever signed for the letter wasn't her father, who, by the way, says that he did sign for it. She does all of this when Thomas himself says he released the letter to defend himself from the claims she made her friends tell People magazine. But of course, she's not going to tell us that. She'd rather have a conspiracy theory to make her seem interesting. Plus, we all know it's Meghan with an obsession of pretending she has a prophecy to communicate through letters. She lives in this fairy tale world with her letters and calligraphy, and there was even drama this year when she wrote a letter to King Charles that was magically leaked, and I made a whole video about that, so go check it out. And this isn't the first time Meghan has been all about writing letters and fancy script, but the fact that she wanted to blame lettergate with her father on the royal family is pathetic. Lie number 5. No one knew they were in LA, episode 6. Meghan and Harry boasted about being in LA, secretly implying that because the royal family didn't know their whereabouts, the news wasn't leaked, since they're trying to convince us that the royal family is the one leaking news about them. Wrong again. People magazine was leaking left and right Meghan and Harry's whereabouts. That's who broke the story. In February 2020, a source, I wonder who, was telling them that they were planning on spending the summer in LA and that they were looking at houses. So Meghan and Harry were leaking the news in America. I know they love to complain about the British press, but it was an American publication leaking the news, before Meghan and Harry finished their final royal engagements, which concluded on March 8, 2020. Later that month, on March 26th, People magazine reported that they left Vancouver Island to settle in Los Angeles. So no, Harry, people knew you were going to LA before you moved into Tyler Perry's house because you leaked that to the American press. And then in May 2020, Gayle King felt it was important to clarify that Oprah didn't hook up Meghan and Harry with Tyler's mansion. It was also Us Weekly that confirmed in May that Harry and Meghan moved into Tyler's $18 million mansion in LA, with a source saying they have been staying there for a month. Tyler also had an interview with Gayle King in July 2020, joking around about losing connection after being asked about Meghan and Harry staying in his place.
It's been widely reported that Meghan and Harry are living at your place in Los Angeles. Can you tell us how they're doing? You speak English?
I'm sorry. I think I just lost you. I just lost you, Gail. I'm sorry. We have a bad, really.
But I guess it's okay to talk about their location when they leak it to the press and their so-called friends go on national television poking fun at a story, right? Also, throughout the episode, they just show British press publications and not the American press that was actually actively leaking news about them, because they want to convince us that the British press is the problem and that everyone in the UK is racist, but they're purposefully not showing the US press because they were leaking news to them. How else would Us Weekly and People magazine get the exclusive? Lie number 6. Meghan was single when she met Harry, episode 1. Harry and Meghan tried to hit back at the rumors that Meghan cheated on her ex Corey Vitello, her rumored fiancé, with Harry. Meghan claims that she had been single for a couple of months before meeting Harry and kept emphasizing being free. So if you were single for months, why were you still living with Corey? The truth is, when things kicked off with Harry, that's when Meghan broke up with Corey. Tom Bauer investigated this relationship in his book, and he says, 2 weeks later, Harry secretly flew to Toronto. He stayed for about 1 week in the house of a friend of Meghan's, probably Jessica Mulroney. With Corey still sharing her home, the situation for Meghan was tricky but manageable. At the end of the week, after he returned to London, Meghan was convinced that her spell was cast and the relationship with Harry would be sealed. She told Corey that their affair was over. Unaware of the circumstances, he was relieved. Tom then writes that Corey moved in mid-July into an apartment with Richard Lambert. Now, there's also a theory that Meghan and Harry were actually dating in March 2016 because they were wearing the matching bracelets that Meghan leaked to the press, because Harry was seen wearing it in March 2016 and then she was Instagramming pictures with the same bracelet around the same time. And these are also the bracelets that they show during the Netflix episode. Now this is interesting because Corey posted an Instagram post in April 2016 showing a picture of Meghan's dog, Guy, captioned saying, "Morning ritual of stretching out on my lady, I do it too." When a source close to Corey's camp was asked if Meghan's breakup with Corey had to do with Harry, the source said, "I can't comment on that." What do you guys think? Lie number 7. All the hate they got was because people were racist to Meghan. Episodes 1 through 6. The soap opera's 6 episodes make no effort to mention any of Harry and Meghan's scandals. Everything is reduced to well, they didn't like her because they are racist. And this so-called global event failed to address a number of the biggest controversies that have swirled around them. Firstly, there was no mention of the bullying complaint. In March 2021, The Times revealed that Meghan had been the subject of a bullying complaint raised by Jason Knopf in late 2018. I am very concerned that the Duchess was able to bully 2 personal assistants out of the household in the past year. The treatment of X was totally unacceptable, Jason wrote. One source told The Times, there were a lot of broken people, young women were broken by their behavior, and described one staffer as completely destroyed. A spokesman for the Sussexes hit back, calling the allegation a calculated smear campaign. And yet, in Spare, Harry admits that not only did William confront him about Meghan's mistreatment of staff, but the staff was indeed slumped over their desks crying. Of course, Harry gives him and Meghan a multitude of excuses, and never once does he show remorse over his crying staff, nor do he and Meghan even address the scandal on Netflix. They just lie and say, well, people are just racist. Secondly, the blood earrings. This I can make a whole separate video on if you'd like. The Times report also alleged that Meghan wore earrings given to her by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman only weeks after the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, and then wore them again in November 2018. At the time, there was so much controversy about the earrings, and Meghan's camp even lied and said it was from the Queen's collection. The whole thing was a disaster, and it wasn't mentioned once on Netflix. And finally, the high staff turnover rate and the Duchess' difficult business. Back in late 2018, reports first started surfacing alleging that the royal family was sending staff emails at 5 AM and was losing aides at an unedifying rate. Like the private jet situation, this has came up again and again. And this is pretty much skipped over in the race to victimize themselves. The entire show was basically a puff piece about them. Well guys, this is it for this video. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video and if you want me to do a part 3. For a more in-depth discussion about the episodes, be sure to check out my 6 episodes recapping their soap opera and check out my Harry and Meghan playlist for more videos. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like and subscribe for more videos each week. Follow us on our social media. And as always, I'll see you next time.